Well, in a climate where print media seems to be dying a slow death, there is one young man determined to keep it alive. Cristian King is the youngest newspaper owner in Australia at just 25 years old, and is responsible for the publishing of many local titles in places like Goulburn and the Southern Highlands in New South Wales. And he joins us today to talk about the future of print. Cristian, welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
G'day there. Pleasure to be on the show.
Mate, it's good to have you here. You've said that there's, and I quote, never been a better time to be in regional newspapers. I need you to elaborate on that, because we've seen the closures of a lot of newspapers. The economic environment is not great. Advertising revenue is down across the whole media sector. You've got to explain this comment to me, because I'm excited by it.
Look, thanks so much. There's a number of reasons. I mean, looking at the media landscape at the moment, there's a lot of opportunities that have been created following that withdrawal from Australian Community Media, ACM, and also News Corp. And as you'd be aware, there's a lot of independent newspapers that are popping up across those areas where they have closed.
Okay, so because the big guys are getting out, it's leaving space for the independent operators to actually come in and be part of the community.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, at a national and metro level, consumers of news are highly engaged online and across different mediums, but that's not the case in the regions. As the communities really like their local, they like to, keep local content within the papers, and for us, what we do is we don't publish any syndicated content whatsoever.
Wow.
And I really believe that's like the magic ingredient of getting your local newspapers to grow.
That's huge.
Cristian, you're obviously so young. You can take that as a compliment. You're welcome. I was just going to say, back in the day, people used to think that age was a barrier, and sometimes that would hold you back. Do you ever find that age has been a barrier for you in this landscape now?
Look, at the moment, no, not at all. But when I first started the newspapers in the beginning, it was a bit of a barrier. But, for instance, in the Southern Highlands, the product holds its own, and people trust the product, and, me being a part of the product, that's what they trust. But, whether dealing with large corporates, ad agencies, really don't experience it much at all. But what I would like to say, though, just on the topic of age, if you wouldn't mind letting me, is recently ABC Chair Ita Buttrose made some statements about young people. And there was a quote she used of, quote, "young people need a hug." Now, I've never been hugged. I've been kicked up the arse a few times. And
is the future of journalism really moving to online? I mean, you're saying from your point of view that, you're trying to jumpstart it with passion, but there's a lot of people still out there wondering if we'll ever see print, being delivered to people's houses.
Yeah, look, that's a really valid point. And I believe for your larger metro regions, print is certainly on the way out, which is really unfortunate, but that is the climate and the market. But you have to understand, in regional areas, for news of what's going on in their area, what's happening with the council, what announcements are coming up from my local MPs, people really rely on that local paper. And also the businesses that advertise with us, they report great results, which is, fantastic for us to hear, but also that keeps them churning away. And you're not, whilst, larger publishers have, launched online products for regional areas, it really still lies within print. That is the future, definitely, for regional Australia.
All right, Cristian, let's talk brass tacks here. I can barely afford a meat pie, but at 25, you own a couple of newspapers. Where's the money come from, my friend? No one likes to talk money, but I need to know, because you're already my bloody hero financially. How does that all start? It's amazing what you're doing. I'm not going to take away what you're doing is amazing. I am just at an odds to work out. So I'm very proud of you. Go ahead.
Definitely. Look, our income comes from advertising revenue, and primarily that's the small to medium businesses that operate in those regional areas.
Sure.
Yes, there are some large corporates that advertise, to that demographic, but that's really what gets us through and over the line. One thing as well that we're extremely grateful for is that at the end of last year, we were a successful recipient of the Regional and Small Publishers Innovation Fund, which is a federal government grant for local newspapers. And, that's really allowed us in this current climate, especially following, the bushfires and floods earlier and drought, and now with the COVID situation and the economic impacts of that, it's allowed us to take on a couple more journalists full time, which is really exciting.
That's fantastic.
Because there's never been, a greater time for the need to get independent news out there.
Well, Cristian, we love your passion. I think you are absolutely brilliant. Thank you for being on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show today.
Absolute pleasure, boys. Have a great afternoon.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo show.